Have you ever wondered why aging is often seen as something to fear? We're taught to fight it, resist it, and hold on to youth at all costs. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if aging is actually the key to becoming the best version of ourselves? What if instead of losing ourselves to age, we were actually returning to who we truly are? In a world obsessed with chasing time, could it be that the real magic happens when we start to let go? Aging isn't the enemy, it's the guide. Let's explore how, with age, comes wisdom, clarity, and the true freedom to be ourselves. The journey of life unfolds, and with each passing year, it brings us closer to the person we were always meant to be. Aging, just one word, yet it carries so much weight. For many, it's a silent fear, creeping in when we least expect it. We've all heard the stories, the ones that say time is a thief, that it steals our youth, our beauty, and even our worth. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what if aging isn't a thief at all? What if, instead of something to be feared, it's the very thing that allows us to finally become who we've always been meant to be? In the rush of youth, we're often caught up in the chase. We chase after accomplishments, recognition, and prove ourselves worthy to the world. But as the years go by, something remarkable begins to happen. We start to unbecome. We no longer feel the need to be what the world expects us to be. Instead, we slowly return to who we truly are, shedding away the layers of society's expectations and finding our authentic selves beneath. Now, you might wonder, why is this important? Because in a world where youth is glorified and aging is seen as a decline, it's time we look at things differently. We live in a time where anti-aging creams, surgeries, and supplements are marketed as the answers to eternal youth. But is that really the answer we're seeking? What if, instead of trying to stay young forever, we embraced the wisdom that comes with age? What if, instead of fighting time, we learned to embrace it as a guide? In ancient cultures, particularly those shaped by Buddhist thought, aging was revered. Elders were not dismissed, they were honored. The Buddha himself said, "As the solid rock is not shaken by the wind, so the wise are not shaken by praise or blame." Do you see what he's saying? Wisdom isn't something that's rushed. It's something that grows over time, born from life's experiences, from silence, sorrow, and growth. In today's society, we may worship youth, but real wisdom, the kind that anchors us in the deepest parts of our soul, blooms with age. The question we need to ask ourselves is, do we want to remain young forever? Or do we want to grow whole forever? Let me tell you a story that sheds light on this. There was once a woman who spent the majority of her life caring for others. She raised children, cooked meals, tended to her garden, and showed up for everyone, except herself. When she turned 65, she retired. The house grew quiet, the routines faded, and for the first time, she was left alone with herself. One morning, she picked up a paintbrush and began to paint. It wasn't planned, just a quiet pull from deep within her soul. At first, her strokes were small, delicate, almost hesitant, but as the months passed, her paintings became vibrant, layered, full of emotion. By the time she turned 70, she was invited to showcase her art at a local gallery. One day, a visitor asked, "Why didn't you start painting earlier?" With a soft smile, she replied, "Because it took me 65 years to finally see the world clearly." You see, aging gave her time, but it also gave her something far more valuable: clarity, depth, and a new vision, the kind of vision that only time can bring. In our youth, we gather experiences, but as we age, we begin to understand them. And here's the surprising part: as the outer world slows down, the inner world begins to bloom. You stop needing to impress others. You stop chasing the fleeting moments and start choosing peace over pride. The noise of life quiets, and in that stillness, you hear your own truth. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that impermanence is not something to fear. Instead, it's something to embrace. The Buddha said, just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past over and over again. And that's what aging gives us. It gives us the opportunity to shed the old versions of ourselves, the ego, the masks we wear, and arrive at a simpler, more authentic version of who we are. This is the true blessing of aging. This brings us to a question that will guide us further. How do we embrace aging in a way that helps us grow into our fullest selves? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into this journey of self-discovery and wisdom. We've explored the journey of returning to ourselves over the years. Now, let's dive deeper into how we can see aging not as a loss, but as the sacred rise. In a quiet temple nestled in the hills, there lived an old monk who led a simple life. He no longer gave lectures or guided meditations, but every morning, before the sun rose, he would sweep the temple courtyard. His movements were slow, deliberate, and peaceful. One day, a young novice approached him and asked, "Master, why do you sweep? You are the oldest monk. You should be teaching." The old monk smiled and replied, "I am teaching. Each sweep of the broom clears not just the leaves, but also clears the thoughts. Each morning, I teach stillness." At first, the young novice didn't understand, but over time, he watched and saw. In the simple act of sweeping was profound presence. The old monk had grown so inwardly still, so deeply wise, that every action he took carried meaning. This is the gift that aging brings, not just slowness, but depth, not just silence, but clarity. So, how can you begin to see aging not as a decline, but as a rise? Start by slowing down, not because you have to, but because you choose to savor more. Practice mindfulness. Notice the little things, the warmth of tea, the sound of birds, the soft light at dusk. Let go of comparison. You are not meant to look or move like your 20-year-old self. You are meant to evolve, not rewind. Keep learning, whether it's painting, writing, gardening, or simply learning to sit with yourself. Stay curious. Share your stories. Your life is a library. Don't let it go unread. The Buddha once said, to understand everything is to forgive everything. And perhaps that is the greatest gift of age, the ability to forgive, to let go, and to rest in peace while still alive. Aging is not about losing who you are. It is about becoming who you've always been. So, may we age not in fear, but in reverence. May we see every wrinkle as a chapter, every gray hair as a silver thread in the tapestry of our lives. If this message touched you, I invite you to subscribe and walk this journey of wisdom, light, and truth with me. Until next time, be gentle with time and let it make you radiant.